Hey everyone, I am your astrologer, Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here is your daily forecast for the day of Wednesday, March 7th, 2018. Now, what we've got going on today is the moon hanging out right here in Scorpio. Okay, which is bringing our attention to emotions, to what it is that we're feeling deep down inside us. Also to our deep, intimate relationships, if we're deepening our relationships with other people in any way, to our finances, any debts that we owe, making any big financial investments, as well as just some changes, endings and beginnings, deaths or births also come in, and Scorpio as well, some kind of big inner transformation. So that is what is going on today. Now at 1 a.m. this morning, the moon is going to come into a conjunction with Jupiter, where you see it right here in this chart, and I think that's a good thing. Whenever a planet touches Jupiter, I normally consider it to be very good. And so what I think is going on here is that we're really spending a lot of time here thinking about our life, thinking about what changes in life we want to make, trying to uncover what we're feeling and work better with other people. And I think we have a chance at 1 a.m. here to start to feel like we're understanding our feelings, like everything now is starting to make sense. All of these changes that we've been making, these things going on with relationships, that maybe it's all starting to come together in some way, or we're starting to get a hang of things, or we're starting to understand what we need to do next now that so much has gone on inside us, and now that we've felt so much and so many things have come up the past few days, and maybe even longer than that with all this stuff in Pisces. So I see it being a very good thing at 1 a.m. Mountain Time. Then after that happens, about 8 hours later, 9 a.m. Mountain Time, the moon moves further through Scorpio and comes into a trine here with Chiron, the last degrees of Pisces. So that could be a little difficult. Again, it could bring up some hurt feelings at 9 a.m. this morning. And that's kind of a weird thing because we just had like a really beautiful aspect here with the moon on top of Jupiter. And then all of a sudden we have like a hard one with Chiron coming in. So I wonder, what I think is going on there is almost like we have some realization with Jupiter, or we start to understand things that we didn't understand before about ourselves, about what we're feeling, about where our life is going. And maybe with the trine to Chiron, that realization is hard. Maybe that's the thing. You know, we realized we had to make a change, or we realized this is how we really felt deep down inside. And even though that was a good thing for us to better understand our life, maybe it's hard for us now to make the adjustment to move forward on that thing. Maybe that's what Chiron's bringing up in some way. Okay, some more hurt feelings based on what's going on, what we've realized inside us as we're making some changes and some big transformations to be a new person with all of these planets coming into Aries. Okay, I think that aspect at 9 a.m. can also hopefully initiate more of a healing process. Not only does Chiron bring wounds, but it also brings lots of healing too. So it can also indicate 9 a.m. you needing to maybe do some things that can heal you. Maybe you're starting to heal emotionally from everything that's gone on because you've gotten some insights now about your life and about what you're feeling too. So I think it could be maybe either one of those things, either some hurt feelings come up at 9 a.m. because of what you've realized, or maybe this realization that came to you at 1 a.m. helps you to then heal and overcome some things that have been hard for you recently. All right, I'm gonna leave that there with Chiron. Then at 3 p.m. Mountain Time, a few hours later, the moon enters Sagittarius. I like Sagittarius, maybe because it's a Gemini. I always say this whenever the moon comes into Sagittarius, but Sagittarius is because it is the natural home of Jupiter, is a very lucky sign. So it does bring luck, good things happening, new things happening, expansion, us adventuring, traveling, doing something that we haven't done before. And I think that's what goes on at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. After we've had some realizations about things, after we've started to understand our life more, even if it was hard. As we've tried to heal ourselves in some way, we then start to realize, okay, there's something new I need to do. I need to adventure. I need to get more optimistic. Sagittarius is a very optimistic sign about my life here, so that I can start to do something new, detach with all this Pisces stuff from the past, move forward, changing my life for the better, and actually stepping into a life that I'm much happier in moving forward. Okay, so that's what comes in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then at 5 p.m., 2 hours later, the moon, as it's moving through Sagittarius, comes into a trine here with Venus, which just entered Aries. You can see it right here in this chart. All the planets are kind of close to each other. And I think that also gives you a chance here to have new relationships in some way, to be more excited about your relationships, to put more passion in your relationships, or you to just feel more excited and passionate about life to begin with. Feeling like you're doing something new, you're moving forward, you're making progress. Things are starting to slowly, little by little, fall into place. Okay, I think that could be coming in at 5 p.m. I do see that being a very good thing. Then a few hours later at 9 p.m. Mountain Time, the moon comes into a trine to Mercury, hanging out again very close to Venus. I think bringing up lots of conversations, very good conversations about you, about who you are, about what you want, about something new that you're doing in some way so that you can begin to move forward and feel better about everything. All right. So that's what I see going on today. I see it being a very good day. I really do, especially after 3 o'clock when the moon enters Sag, makes these pretty trines to Venus and Mercury, and maybe just having a little rough spot first thing in the morning, 9 a.m., but needing to push through it, okay, and to use it as an opportunity to heal yourself and to understand what is going on better than to dwell on things that aren't working, to dwell on the past, okay? I really do think with so many planets coming through Pisces now and starting to enter Aries, especially after Sagittarius, after we had Saturn and Mars in Sagittarius for so long, that we're starting to disassociate from an old life, like our life that we had before Saturn entered Sagittarius 3 years ago. Like, we're starting to finally break the ties, break the bonds with that life, and see a new life and move in that new life and live that new life and really make it a thing. Commit to it, step into it instead of straddling both worlds. And I think that's what we're starting to do coming off of this full moon, preparing for a new moon, is we're finally starting to disassociate with some things that are not good for us, some things from the past, so that we really can be a new person, approach life with a new mindset in a new way, meeting the new demands of our life in a way that we feel much more comfortable in. And I think today, especially the nighttime, is going to give us a chance to start to see more of the potential in life, more of our future, more of what's been going on after we've been dealing with some heavy, hard, confusing internal stuff. Okay, so that's what I feel going on there. Now, stuff going on in the background. We've got Venus and Mercury, which I just talked about, because we do have the moon making a trine there today. Okay, so that again can bring up lots of communication, lots of conversations happening as well. Lots of conversations still for this past week and still moving forward with this alignment. Money, relationships, thinking a lot about that, communicating a lot about that, also communicating about what you value, about what's important to you going on. Okay, I think the communication is good, but I think the money and the relationship stuff could be a little hard now with Venus starting to move into Aries. We're starting to look out for ourselves now. Okay, now that we're starting to move forward, am I taken care of? Am I okay? So, you know, that can be a good thing to look out for yourself, but just keep that in mind. Venus does not like being in Aries because of that reason. Venus likes being in the opposite sign of Libra, where it can share with other people. It shares equally. It enters into partnerships with other people. And Venus in Aries is like, no, I don't want to share with other people. Am I right? Am I taken care of? Because if I'm not taken care of, then you can go, you know, kick rocks. And so that can be a thing that starts to come in here, is that relationships get a little bit more cutthroat or a little bit more selfish in some ways. And it's not bad to be selfish. It's not bad. Sometimes you need to be selfish in order to make sure your life is taken care of, but sometimes it can make relationships a little bit more challenging than you want and need. So just be mindful of that. Even though you're having lots of conversations about your values, about what's important to you, about your relationships, you might need to make sure you're a little bit more diplomatic than maybe you want to be so that things can move forward in a much more peaceful kind of way. All right, so there's that happening. We also do have, keep in mind, Mercury and Venus about to square Saturn, the very end of this week, Saturday, coming in. So what that could bring is, as you're thinking a lot and communicating a lot about money and about relationships, you're starting to think more seriously. I think there's some commitments you're going to have to make at the end of this week, or some big decisions when it comes to relationships and when it comes to money. How do I want to spend my money? How do I want to make money? What relationships do I want in my life? And I think you're starting to communicate and think about these things, all right, so that you can make some big commitments, be more serious about them, make them more long-term, whatever it is that you decide, and you're trying to create the best situation in terms of relationships and in terms of money so that you can put your life in the right place. So there's a lot of that coming in behind the scenes. All right, also with all of these planets here, Venus and Mercury moving into Aries, we're starting to be more public now about what's going on inside us. So much isn't all about thinking in the mind now. Not that Pisces is about the mind, but so much of it isn't as much what goes on behind the scenes. Now that all of these planets are moving into Aries, we're starting to move forward to make more progress again, after maybe we felt like we were stagnating a few days before, and after maybe we felt like things were a little confusing. All right, not that it's going to clear overnight. We still have to wait for the sun. We still have to wait for the moon, at the new moon, to come around and both of these things to enter Aries. So we're not quite at the point where we're like full speed ahead yet, doing new things, living a new life, but we're slowly getting to that point where we can act more freely, especially with the Mars-Uranus trine this weekend, and do more things that are really going to help us to move forward and put our life in a better place. And I think we're just now starting to turn the page, adjust our perspective so that we really can, step into a new life. I hope I'm catching you up on the story well enough with what's been going on astrologically. All right, so that's what we've got going there. We also do have the Sun and Neptune coming off a conjunction. Again, it could be confusion, but I think now that the conjunction is less and less, starting to get more clarity, hopefully starting to get more insight, hopefully starting to get more inspiration, especially with the Moon-Jupiter thing happening. The Sun also slowly moving into a sextile here with Pluto, so I think an opportunity as well coming in to start to feel like you're making some progress, you're doing some things you want to do, you're moving forward, you're putting your life in the right place, you're feeling more stronger, more powerful. Okay, being a thing that I think for sure is starting to come in. Okay, so opportunity there. And then Mars as well, about to make a trine to Uranus, to bringing up lots of action soon to start to break free, to move forward, to step into a life that you really want. So I think things are going to slowly start now that things are moving into Aries, and now that we've got some other nice aspects coming in, things are slowly going to start, I think, to get much easier for you to do things, to act, to make things happen, and to make sure that they have staying power, especially if you're diligent, and to make sure that they can last. And we're just now trying to make this transition to step into a new life. Okay, and after we have that, we're not going to have anything in Sagittarius except the moon for about a few more months till Jupiter moves in. And you're not going to hear me talk too much about doing something new, getting out of your comfort zone, doing something you haven't done before. It's going to be, okay, you're doing something new, you've been working on it for years since Saturn entered Sagittarius. Go time, build time to take all this new stuff and use it to your advantage and make it into something more than what it is right now. All right, and you're going to see me, the horoscopes are going to switch, so that I'm going to start to talk more and more about building on something. And I've been talking a little bit about that, about putting your life in the right direction. But once Mars moves into Capricorn and everything leaves Sagittarius for a few months, it's going to be all about taking something that you've been working on and using it to put your life in the right direction, and not so much about experimentation as it has been the past few days, weeks, months, and years. All right. So that's what I'm going to leave with you. I hope all of that made sense. Now for your card, we've got the Queen of Cups reversed. This is interesting because I do see today being a good day, other than the Chiron trine. This to me could indicate a lack of emotional control, emotions being all over the place, not paying attention to your emotions internally, or your emotions just being in disarray. And I think with this card, you need to make sure that you're listening to what's going on inside you to address your feelings so that you can understand them better with the Jupiter thing and move forward on them. This may also indicate too emotions everywhere. Maybe they're not bad emotions. Maybe there's just so many feelings, so many things going going on and maybe just needing to get a hold of it all, okay? Wrangle it all in so that you can start to make sense of what you're feeling and use it in a better way to your advantage. Okay, so that's what I see going on there. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.